I don't know where to begin, but I must explain what's going on. I have written about it many times from that day I entered into Facebook, and it was, I think it was 2009. I was starting on Facebook, and it was mostly because I wanted to have a contact with my kids. I have one daughter and one son, and it's showing everything. It's surf plate, but much happened in my life. So I got more and more about God, and it's not coming immediately. It's an ongoing process. It's hard to talk because you wonder what's going on. I do it also because the Spirit is on me immediately. And it makes it hard for me to speak, as he wants to speak inside me. But it started in year 2000. 2000 it started. I had so much going on from the devil, and he hunting me so much in my life, and I had just been married in Texas, but my husband make us have to move back to Sweden, and I felt it so much failure in my life that everything looked so great in Texas. But then my husband make it us to be out on the street almost, because we were selling everything and bought a ticket to Sweden to escape, to be homeless. So in Sweden we got a home, nice home. And I have a job as a computer manager, network manager in our city. And I was a manager for tenants association, and it was okay, but I missed Texas so much. And my daughter was so bright, and the teacher, it was their favorite student, my daughter in Texas. And everything we have to leave, even our pets, we have to sell them to move back to Sweden. And my husband, I was so under a man. I was so made from the start, from birth, that I was under man. My mother teach me that the man was the supreme in our life. Women's life is nothing. Man is up in the top. And I was born with that, and I was abused of my father, abused from my brother, and I didn't know any other life. Then my father was alcoholic, so I never saw him sober any day more than when he was in the hospital or sober up for some days. And my brother, he's a total wreck and mentally, and he saw me like my father saw. My father was pedophile, and my brother thought he should marry me. He was 2.5 years older than me, and he thought I was his girlfriend. And so I didn't know what sort of man I should have in life. So it was this abuser man. They picked me, I didn't pick them. But of course I agreed to be with them. But they were abusive, mentally abusive to me. And I had this with the devil hunting me when I come back from Texas with my husband. I should have left him in Texas, but I was too much underman. So he come with me, and with him come the devil, and he took drugs, and he was saying that he was talking to the devil in the night when he was up and smoking. He say he used to wave like this in the night at the shadow that was on the wall, and then he take down the hands, and the shadow still was doing this to him. So he know he had contact with the devil, and it was so much on me. I dream nightmares about those hood coming and wanted to bring me into the darkness. And one night, my husband wake me up in the night, and he say, "Can you smell in the room?" It's a smell like wet soil and like water and soil rotten in the room, in the air, without that we have done anything. And so it's coming something from the underground in our room. And then another night, I dreamed that I was first in a cafe. It was many people sit there in the cafe, and then it was a door right straight over that cafe on the other side. And I walked there, and I could open the door, and I come in to hell. And there was men coming with those old black clothes and very white in their face. And all of them, they were screaming, but I didn't hear any screaming. But I saw they were so frightened. They walked like scared, but they were blinded, so they didn't see each other. So they thought they were alone, separated for all living creature. And then in the background I saw a graveyard, and there was a moon that was very pale. It was only a little, and everything was dead, and everything was in grey scale. And then I sit on the stairs to the cafe, to that house behind me, and there come evil creature, and they talk so mild to me. please, let us come in, let us come in. And there come one with a black hood, but there was nothing inside the hood. But when he come closer, I saw it was like green wheel going on. And he was closest of everyone, and he said, can you open the door for us? Can you open the door? And I said to him, I don't have the key. I don't have the key for the door, I said to him. And then my husband wake me up, and he said, I had some strange dream, he said to me. It was like I was in a cafe, and there was many people, and he described the cafe, and I say to him that it was where I was also, but I could open the door to hell to see what's inside there. I say to him, but he'd never come in there. He was not allowed to come in. So it was many strange things happen, and that summer of 2000, in July, August, I had his daughter coming from Texas to our home, and she was not well in her brain. She was 2 years old, but she was 12 years old, but she was born too early, so she had damage in her brain. And I had so hard time, because first I should work, then I should take care of people for tenants association where I was manager, and then my husband was the worst of all the tenants, and people complained because he was drinking so much, barbecue things outside where he should not be to do these things, and I have my own kids to take care of that have some hospital visits, and then I have this mental sick, brain damage girl that was running everywhere and was into people's home and everything. And my husband, he go to the bar and left me with everything. And it was a church on the side of our house, and I went there because I have this basic about church that everyone have, being baptized there, and those been confirmed there, and those things. So I went there and look at the cross of Jesus. They have a big cross with Jesus on the cross, and I tried to talk to him, but I didn't know the Bible or God, or no. But I thought, like so many, that the devil is not in the church, but he is. And I took some paper with me from the church and placed it in my home and tried to escape what's going on. But and then one night in 2000, I wake up. My husband didn't wake up, but I wake up, and I saw a big picture, a very, very big picture, in the air, hanging in the air, and it was Jesus Christ. And you have seen it in my picture, he was sitting and write in the book, but he didn't say anything. but I saw him move a little, and behind him was it 7 doors. That the doors was like it was cloud in front of them, so they were not sharp. But I was laying there and looked for maybe 1-2 minutes. That's a long time when you look at a picture. And then I fall asleep again. And then my husband, he should bring back his daughter to Texas. So my daughter, she was 15 years old. And she and I was by ourselves. And then it started to happen that we could feel like wind inside the apartment. It was like touching me kindly. Like, don't be worried, this sort of things. And my daughter also felt this wind. And one morning she woke up, and she always was happy in the morning before going to school. But she was sitting and crying. And I asked my daughter, what's wrong? I sit down with her and say, what's wrong? And she told me, I had a dream this night, she said. I was out from the planet, from the earth. I saw it from a distance, and she said today that she saw it like the horizon. It was fire in the horizon, and she was crying because she thought she should not coming back, that the earth should burn down, and she should not see me or anyone again. That's why she crying. And then I be so happy in my heart, because I knew that my daughter was also with me in this spirit things, to see things. And then we did in the day we did some paintings, and I say to my daughter, she was sitting on the other side of the table, and I say to my daughter, I don't know what to draw, what to paint, I say. And it was only that I was kidding, because I didn't believe in anything of this with spirit things, with God or nothing. We have not the Bible at home. We were not going to the church. But I say that to her, and I know today that was the spirit was already in me, because I say I close my eyes, and then I see what I get for a picture inside me, in my brain, I say to her. And then I saw a big mountain, like Himalaya mountain, many mountains, but it was one mountain special that was like burning in the basic, it was burning, and it was like one mountain in the mountain, but it was like a burning in the basement of it. And I started to paint the picture, and my daughter, she said, what are you doing? And I turn around and show her the picture. And what is that, she said to me. She was 15 years old. And she asked me, what's that? I say, without any knowledge of God, but I say in the spirit already there, this is Himalaya mountain. That is the highest mountain in the world. And I am going to go up there in the top of the mountain, because there is the highest point where I can stand and be close to heaven and still be here on earth. I can reach heaven but still be here on earth, I say to her. And that's what was coming through. I prophesy on my own life under God. And then it was, I dreamed that one night that I was fighting with the devil, this with the hood. And I was thinking that I must scratch the face of the devil. So I started to do this in the hood. But I realized that there was no face in it. It was total black inside it. So it didn't help to scratch him with my nails. And I could run up from the bed. And on the outside, on my balcony, I saw a white-shaped being, a very big being. And I'd be even more scared because I didn't know what it was in that time. And I know. I know today it was the angels, that because I had a dream, if it was before or after, that I dreamed that I was standing outside a home and I saw a child be haunted of the devil. And I was screaming to that. I think it was a boy. I said, run, 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 I was screaming. And I tried to open the door to that home, but I couldn't. I only could see it from the outside and not help more than telling him to run as much as he can away from it. And it was like it was the same in this situation also, that I couldn't get any help from God in that time. And I was so scared. And my daughter was sleeping, but I couldn't be in the home. So I ran out from the home because there was a person that said he could help me to take away the devil in my home. And I was so scared, so I was not scared about this person. So we drove to his home, and then he did a cleaning and on me, and I felt the heat from God, from him to me. He was about 1 meter from me. He didn't touch me, but I felt this warm. And he said that it's going to be, first you don't feel it, but later on it's going away more and more. And it lasts 3 months and then it's coming back again. So he didn't promise to clean up total, but just for me to breathe. we were back home. Then my daughter had not wake up, so she didn't know that I was away for 1 hour. And it be more and more calm. But it was going on many things in the home. So my daughter, she was only 15 years old, so she looked at the internet and look what to do to speak with spirits. And she read and she say, Mom, we can see if it's some spirits coming and talk to us. She say, so, and we were so scared. We light up the whole home, and we have lights on the table, and 3 lights on the table, and then we sit and we have some burning herbs around the whole apartment. My husband was in Texas, so there was no evil from that direction. And we sit, and I said I was on my way to walk up from where I was when it suddenly come. It looked like an Indian, Native American. It looked like that because she had dark hair, and then she had those birds. So, and I said, what? It's an Indian spirit coming forward, I said to my daughter. But then I realized it was not. It was me as a child, because I used to have this braid hair when I was a kid. And my father, I said to my daughter, my father always was singing when I had this hairstyle. He said, it's for singing in Swedish, but I say it in English. I want to have a little girl with braid hair. He was always singing. And then suddenly, I didn't see him. I only heard him. Then my father came. That was dead. But they are not dead. They go in the spirit to God. And he said to me, can you forgive me for what I did? I was never at home. I always was in the bar drinking. He said to me very kindly, and the air was so much love in it. So I couldn't say, even if I don't felt for to forgive him. I felt like I have to. But I be angry at him. I say, but these other things you did on me, I say, he even when he was in the spirit, he wanted to lie or ignore the biggest hurt that he did on me, that he was abusive, sexual abusive on me as a child. So once again he say that, forgive me, I never took in his penis, penetration. He didn't do that. He say like that it was not so bad at all, like that. And I say, but I have to forgive him but I don't know what the judge, the heavenly court, was saying about him. Lying even in the spirit. And then it's come a man who have seen me be abused of my adopted older sister and my brother. It was one time we were out and my brother and sister was taking care of me as a child, and they knocked me down on the grass, and then they come with big sticks and slay me and hurt me, and this man come running to help me, but I remember that I was so scared about this man come running, so I wanted to come up from the grass, but they have beat me up so much with the sticks, so I couldn't come up. But when he come closer to me, he jumped over me and ran after my brother and sister, and he asked me, as dad in the spirit, he asked me, "Can you forgive me? Because I never told anyone what had happened that day," he said. And that make me understand about this. You don't need to kill a person. If you see a person be like me, being almost killed or raped or something, you have to do something, because if you don't do anything for that person that you see is in dangerous situation, then you are the same as this person that hurt and do things, bad things on that victim. So it's very important that we tell or do something. You can throw a rock or something to break it. And so I said to him, he was crying very much. I heard him crying. I didn't see him, but I heard his crying. And I say, "I forgive you." And I knew that the heavenly court has told them that if I forgave them, they could come into heaven. If I didn't forgive them, they should not have been there. So that's what one of my first helping people. And I think there is much more in it. And this is when the last one, I counted as 6 people or spirit that was talking to me, and I should forgive them. It was 5 spirits that asked for forgiveness, and the 6th one was my grandmother, because she gave me a picture of me as a child. And maybe it was she that was from the start gave me that picture of me as a child. I don't know. But she made me laugh after all these bad, tragic things. Because she showed me she will show me this rebellious child I was already from the start. Because my grandmother, she lived out in the country, and she have her own house, and she grow vegetables and berries. And my mother always, and my father also, they always dressed very beautiful. And my father was a manager for insurance company, and he have nice suit and this, and he have titles. So he show his business card for people that he was something important person. And and I was dressed in the most beautiful dress when I come and visit my grandmother. And my brother and sister, they always was so correct and holding my parents side by side with them. But I was running into the bushes with all these berries. So, and it was this dark berries, and I eat them. And of course I get stains much on me of the color of the berry, and I trash the whole dress. But my mother she was frightened to say something, so she let me do that. I was never punished as a child. My mother never punished me. She never hit me with anything. She only do hurting things with words, not hit me. She sometimes say that she should do a suicide when I was not nice to her. I was rebellious, but shy child. I didn't say anything, but in the family I was rebellious, and I didn't felt I belonged to them, to this family. And now I was placed into a dysfunctional family to learn to be strong, be powerful against the devil, to be what I am today. It started already from birth, and then when my grandmother have talking or giving me picture, she didn't talk, she gave me picture, but I understood it was she that make me happy, laugh instead of crying. And I saw in the corner Jesus Christ was standing there in my home. And my daughter, she saw it also, and she heard the Spirit talking. So I was not on my own hearing these things. And Jesus Christ, he was in a white beard, white hair and robe, and he didn't talk at all. He was only standing there, and suddenly it was a bright voice in the air, and it was like in no direction. It didn't come from that corner where Jesus Christ was. It was a voice of its own, and there was not a body. I couldn't see any person. The Spirit is on me so much, so I'll be thirsty. And it was that this voice was by itself, and it was coming in no direction at all. It was if Shanasa, if this is going through, I will text this video if there is no sound or what's wrong with it. But I think I don't see any emotion things on this plate, this tablet. It's on my phone, I can see it. And it was like, here and now, I am, was only a voice. It was no person in that voice that had this voice. It was only a voice of itself, and that is what I know about God. I know that God is by himself one and only. And Jesus Christ was standing there in the room, and I saw him in the white hair and white beard and the robe. And my daughter saw him also, and she was saved immediately by Jesus Christ. But I was on the Father, the voice in the air, and he was talking to me, and I didn't know that my daughter didn't hear God. She saw Jesus Christ, and he was not talking. And I couldn't for many years understand it. Why didn't she heard God talking to her? Why did she only see things, and then she heard me talking to those spirits? Why? But she is this Christian that believe that Jesus is God. And I can't do anything because she is never at home. She's in this sect church that she come to for in 2001. She joined them, and I can't reach her. So it's what it is. But I heard God talking, and God talked. And before, I forget to say that it was wrong said of me, because Jesus Christ was talking to me. He was, because he was talking about my childhood. And the Spirit on so much now, because I'm talking about them. Talking about God and Jesus Christ, and they own me. And Jesus Christ was talking about my childhood, because Jesus Christ, he's talking with many words. He explained things when he's coming forward and talk to me sometimes, because God, he can talk to me with one word. And most of the time I understand everything, what it means with one word. But sometimes I can't understand. And then come Jesus Christ and talking to me what God have told me. So I understand it. And this time Jesus Christ told me about my childhood. He had seen me the whole life. And he told me about this day when I died. He told me how my sister, adopted sister, older sister, pushed me out in the street, and a truck drove over me and killed me. And then I remember when laying in the cold, dark room of death, and with no clothes on, and I wake up. I was scared about the darkness and that I was cold, and I was only 2.5 years old about that. And my mother said the whole time, my whole childhood, you can't remember, you were only 2.5 years old, you can't remember. But kids, even babies, can remember small things. And I remember laying there on the table in the darkness and cold. Then suddenly from up above, from the ceiling, there come a bright light on me, on the whole body. And I felt it, and then it was like metallic hands was holding me, very strong hands was holding my body, and the heat from God's healing was on my little body. And my mother told me my whole childhood how I was supposed to be dead and wake up again. She told me the whole time. And I asked my mother, why did you hold me? I thought it was my mother. Why did you hold me so strong? It was hard, it was painful. And why was it this light in my eyes? This bright light in my eyes. And my mother, she didn't know what to say because she didn't know what had happened. So she always lie and say, your eyes was bad when you were a baby. You couldn't cry as a baby, so we did a surgery on your eyes. And my mother, she have collect and saved all my things from my birth. And I also have asked the archive in the hospital about me, and there is nothing to find of the surgery of my eyes. So that when Jesus Christ was telling me this about my childhood and everything of this fragment of memories make a whole picture, I become healed from the scars in my heart of that situation. I felt me healed, and I have to be healed from my childhood to good work for God. So after Jesus Christ have said that, and he was not talking like I heard a voice. I didn't hear a voice from Jesus Christ. He put it inside me, the knowledge about this. I saw it like in a picture in me, what have happened, and I heard his voice inside me. But God was talking outside. He was not talking inside me. He was talking in the air to me, and he told me about the future, my future. And I couldn't believe it, that what he told me was so much too special. And why should I go away from my husband? Why should I go away from my job? Why should I go away from my country? Why? should I? And no, I didn't believe it was God that was talking to me, because it was too much for me to take in. So I denied it, like so many denied that God was talking. And before this happened, I was on my way to make a suicide, because everything was so bad. I have failed in Texas. I have married a husband that showed up that he had AIDS. The doctor, when he was to the hospital, the doctor thought I knew it. But he had hidden it and married me. And I was thinking I have killed my daughter, because in that time it was like death to get AIDS and then HIV. And I was thinking, I have killed my daughter. I was not thinking about myself, but I thought I have done so terrible thing by marrying this man. And but just before I was going into the water to kill myself, this happened. That it calmed this spirit on me like this, and in the wind and this. So it was in the last minute. It was very close that I should not sit here today. But Jesus Christ didn't want it to happen. He had seen me the whole time. So in that way, he is my salvation, because he told the Father about me. And the Father was talking about me. And then he talked about my daughter, that he said to me, your daughter is going to be allowed to have a child in her womb. And I laugh. This is not God is talking. I'm laughing, and I was thinking, I was laughing inside me, and I was thinking that this is not God talking, or else he have known that my daughter, she can't have a child, she's not fertile. And God heard me laughing, and what I was thinking inside me, and he said to me, you're laughing like Sarah laughed when I told her. And then he took a little time, because he knew that I didn't know the Bible. And Abraham, he said to me, then I know today that it was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that was talking to me. And I was thinking about that, and only a few weeks later I saw it on internet that about egg donation, and I was still in that age that I could produce egg. So I wrote to that professor that had this science research about egg donation, and I asked her if I could give my daughter egg from me, but she said I was too old. I was 48. I was too old. It was no good quality on the egg. But she said that we have to come to her research science center in Stockholm So we go there, and she said that my daughter had egg in her. So she can, the professor could take out the egg and freeze them. So when my daughter was only 15 years old, so when she want to be pregnant, we can put in the egg in her, because the professor say that the egg dry out if they don't start to come out. They dry out when a child is about 17 years old. So if they have not get the menstruation, then it starts to be late when they are 17 years old. So it was very hurry to do it. And then I have, as my daughter was only 15 years old, I have to sign papers that I give away my daughter's body to the science research. And when I wrote my name on that paper, the professors say exactly the same as God have told me. Your daughter can't have a child of her own, but she can carry a child in her womb. So then later I thought it was, why don't she get any kids? She have no kids. She have no husband. Why don't she have any kids? He say that, God, but he didn't say it. He say she should be allowed, not that she should have a child. He say she should be allowed to carry a baby in her womb. And that's what the professor say, that she could carry a child in her womb if she wanted it. People don't understand what God is talking about. It's like for me that it was my wants that told me inside in my brain that she should have a child, but it was not what he said. It was me that was thinking like that. And so many times people do their own interpretation of things that God have told them. But we have to think on every word of it on what God really is saying to us. And it's same when you read the Bible also, that you have to look at each word of itself. And there is churches like a Lutheran and Catholic church, they never used the symbolic inside the Bible. And I read it in the Spirit, the Bible, and then you get every answer of it, of what the Bible tell. All those parts that preachers can't explain for you. You know it. You know it when you read it in the Spirit and in the symbolic. We have still today symbolic words. And it was even more in Jesus' time. And when the books was written, that they have symbolic languages. So and they have the tradition that make them write like they write. I was in a Bible knowledge church for some weeks, and I learned very much from Jesus' time, how it was in that culture, in their tradition, and it told me so much what the Bible is talking about. But it's hard because people don't believe me. And it was hard for many years, until about 2 years ago, that people didn't understood me. But they didn't understood Jesus either, so so it's okay. And my work for God is to tell you about what God have told me and shown me, and it's my duty, me as a vessel for God is only to tell what God is talking about. And then it's up to you to decide if you want to believe me or not. It's not on me. That's so good. It's so nice that I am free to do the whole work, because half of the work is on you. So if you want to deny what I tell you, okay, it's okay for me. I have done my work. And then it's coming, when I come to the United States, from Sweden to the United States, and walk homeless in the United States. I didn't know where to go in the United States, so I come to Seattle, Washington. But in a very short time, in 2-3 months, he have moved me from Seattle, Chicago, to West Palm Beach, to Daytona Beach, to North Carolina. I must start to be dark. It didn't help. And Daytona Beach, North Carolina, and up to Virginia Beach. And there was where God wanted me to be from the first place. But I didn't understood it. He had shown me that in Sweden, that I should go to Virginia, in Virginia Beach. And when I go to the library in Virginia Beach, I understood more, because the woman that should write the card for me, the library card for me, she laughed when I show my passport to her, and she said, "Have you taken that name, Virginius, because you live in Virginia Beach, in Virginia, United States?" So God have already told me, when I took my father's last name, I took when he died in the 70s. I took it about in the 80s somewhere, the last name from him, so it should not disappear to someone else. And there God had told me, my name is Virginia in USA. And then I realized that, what did this woman say? So God had given me many signs before this happened, before I was in the United States. And already when I was 16 years old, God was talking to me in a hospital. I was by myself in the waiting room, and suddenly I heard a voice. And God was speaking to me to go and heal a girl that couldn't talk or couldn't walk. And in some few minutes she was healed and could walk and talk again. So he had been my whole life, but I have not understood it. So it started in United States that it was like I was walking with Jesus for some years there. And sometimes Jesus was like he was walking side by side with me and talked to me. And he told me about his time. He told me about to be in the caves most of his time. He was sitting with people that was not allowed to come into the walls around the cities. They were not allowed to come in to the cities. It was not only that they were thieves, that I can understand, but it was people that was disabled, people that maybe was a little mental disabled, and people that have some issues in their life, and they was not allowed to be in the city. So they were in the caves. And there, Jesus told me, there he was. So, and he gave me a picture of him sitting there with some flames of fire around him so people could see him. And he sit there on a little stone and talk to people. And there it was very dangerous to walk there. It was wildness. It was not in our time that it was light. It was dark. So you didn't. So he said to me, you don't know who you going to meet in the darkness there. So, but his father, God, was protecting him when he was walking around. Like God was doing to me, because I had knife on my throat, and I have gun here. I was robbed from all money I had, and I had robbed just that day when I should go and buy me an airplane ticket back to Sweden. I was not allowed to go back to Sweden. I have to stay exactly 3.5 years. I think it's 1,290 days in the United States in the wilderness, and be so much abused. But they could never take my spirit. They could never kill me, but everything else they could do on me. But I survived, and people that know me, you know where I come from. I come from nothing. I have to start over my life, both literally and in the spirit. I was born again in year 2000. I come to United States in December 18, 2000. And God did so many miracles already from the first step I took in the United States. And I don't know today how I could come on the east coast of United States without any money. My husband, when he saw that I had run away from him, he blocked all the bank accounts, so I didn't have any money. I had $50 in my pocket when I come into United States, and I have not got $1 from United States. No one. No, United States have not support me at all. You think that I have got so much. They say to me that Sweden is the country that support their citizen, so you get the money from Sweden, they say to me. So I didn't get any food stamp or nothing. And I talked later on to the Swedish ambassador to tell them to send me a paper where it says in English that you have left Sweden, you have left your country, so we have no what is called, they don't need to support me at all because I left of free will from Sweden. So I didn't have any money at all, and they didn't believe me in the churches I was to help some money. I was menstrual bleeding. Only that was very hard for me, because sometimes I have to ask a man in the church if he have something for me in my bleeding. I have menstruation today. Can you help me so I can get any pad or something? It was very embarrassing because I didn't even have money for that. Didn't have nothing. And when I was in Africa, they were shocked. When I was in the poor churches, and they look at me as money, as a piggy bank, coming there and preach for them. And I say to them, you look at me as I have lots of money, that I have never been in your situation. But you have not been in my situation, because I was more poor than you. I have nothing when I was in United States. You have at least your family, friends, and you are in your own country. I didn't even have my country. I didn't have $1. And they were so shocked when I say that to them, because they have not seen white people. Monsugo have always money. But that was not the case, because God make me be dependent on Him in everything for my life, not only in money, depended on His protection. And I never was out from a bed. I always had a bed every night. Always. I was thinking when I was walking that I could go into a bar and get something to eat and have a bed for that night, but I never did it. So, and it was people that didn't come in to the shelter that night, for example. So it was a bed for me. God make me never sleep outside. I was sleeping for some days in a condemned house where there were druggist people living there. But nothing happened. they respect me, those druggies, so I even get clothes from them. They gave me food to eat because they felt like it was something special. And in that area, when my daughter should come in 2002, I was wondering, where should I put her? She's used to be wealthy, up in the higher society. Where should I take her? I can't take her to a shelter. And so suddenly I was together with a man, and he was a deacon in a church, and we started to do the paper to be engaged. We couldn't live together, but we were in the same house. And I was working in the nights, and then start people to tell me that he did drugs. It was drug party. The deacon did drugs. And I come home one morning, and I saw all this left over from drugs, and I kicked him out, and I got the lease on the house for myself. And I even took the police to my home and showed him the drugs, the spoon and all the drugs in a pocket of some pants that this man had. And the police said, "Shh, don't say anything. I take it away." I didn't know that I could be in prison for having drugs in my home. He knew. He had never seen me in drugs situation like that, and he saw how innocent, so stupid I was when I showed him all these things. But he was nice, the police. He took it away without report anything. And once again he was coming to my home and took away this man using drugs, this deacon taking drugs. When he come into my home, he go in the windows and was in my home when I come back from work. And so I have work, and I study plus A certificate for Windows in the United States that summer when my daughter comes. So I have a house. And but the little I got, I didn't get so much money so I could pay the rent. But I had that house as long as she was in United States. And that day, it was also this with the Holy Spirit, because that day before she was going to the airport and going back to Sweden, I told her, we take up much water for the morning. We have running water, but I say to her, we take up very much water for the morning. And it was right, because in the morning they block the water, they take away the water for us. And I was in the church, and one person say that he should drive my daughter and me to the airport so I could say bye to my daughter. And when I come home to the house, I had a paper on the door that I was evicted from the home. So it was just perfect, God's perfect timing for my daughter. And then I had learned from homeless people to store my belongings in a unit and pay $45 or something like that in a month. So I got help from one man in the church to take my belongings to a store unit. So these small things I got help with, but very seldom with money. Sometimes. And the most need I had is to get help to be protected in the United States, to not have to go outside the whole day long and be in homeless shelter and those things. And also the most important was that someone could sit side by side and ask me where I come from. In the church, I was hoping, why can't they ask where I'm coming from? I was in black churches, African American church. There was only me white. Why didn't they ask me why did you come here and where are you from? They never ask. If they have asked, sit down and listen to me and make some question, they could known that I was from Sweden. I have no family in the United States. I have no friends in the United States. I was on my own. And God have sent me to United States. They could have known that. But when I was in Virginia Beach and the terrorist attack was in New York and Pentagon, I was in Virginia Beach, and 2001, September 11, and from that day I needed to could speak English very well, so they didn't understood that I was from another country, or else it could be dangerous for me in that area, Virginia Beach. I lived in Norfolk, and that was the last airport where they could fly in, and then they have to take a car to New York if they wanted to go there. Everything was focused on New York, but they couldn't come with any flight into the New York area. So I learned English very fast, and that make also that people didn't recognize me as be foreigner in the United States. And then I was sick in my body from the past, that my pancreas didn't work, so it doesn't digest the food I eat. So I was overweight. So they didn't see it in what they saw with their eyes. People in the church, pastors and ministers, apostles, evangelists, they didn't see that I was needy. But if they have talking to me, they have realized it. But they have no time. There was so much stress. And if they have known me, they also have known very much about God, what he was doing. So I was first, Jesus was talking to me and like walking. And he said one day, he said to me, I was walking home from my work, and there was some cars follow me, wanted to take me into the car and rape me and kidnap me. So I have to go in. I was about 10 o'clock in the evening, and I have to go in different streets, so they could know where I was walking. So one day it was raining very evening or night. Was it very, very much rain, and it was over the whole half of the street, the water. So I have to go out to the street where the cars was coming, and just when, how should I do this to not be hit of a car? Then I heard Jesus was telling me, "You are walking on water," he said to me. What does it mean? Water, it's the word, the living water. It's a word from him, Jesus Christ, and Jesus was in that time, and that I walk in faith. It's it about, because that was Peter was doing when he went out from the boat and started to walk. He walked in faith on the water, and he didn't sink as long as he don't go worried or frightened. And that was Jesus was telling me in that time. And I be so happy, and no car hit me, and no one raped me, and no one kidnapped me in that time. I was kidnapped once in the United States, and but I escaped that also. I escaped very much things that could have killed me. But then it started to come a bright light. When I was sleeping in the darkness, it came this bright light that is not from this world. And inside this bright light, there was the voice that I knew from the first time, that was talking to me that had no direction. It was only here and now I am. And he had talking to me outside. And sometimes he was not in the light, only talking to me outside. People think that's in my brain, but it have not been in my brain. It's outside in the air he had talking. And then when I come back to Sweden in 2004, May 2004, I was homeless in Sweden also, because I had to walk away from everything. And I have no money, and I was homeless in Sweden also, and I have to start over in Sweden to move up more and more. The first in Sweden was I sleeping in a store unit on a camping place in my city here. It was a very small place with nothing, no bed set or pillows or nothing, nothing to make food with or nothing. I was there the whole summer on the camping, and then it's closed after summer, and then I get a place in the forest live together with people that do drugs, and it was so much going on there. They were selling drugs, And I say to the social service that I can't be there in the forest because it's be darker and darker. So I have to stay there the whole time in my little room I had. This working home. This for workers that they can bring with them. And I say that I can't. I'm scared to go in the darkness in the forest. So I got one bedroom apartment with a kitchen, but one room only, not a living room, only a living room where I could have the bed and a small kitchen. And the apartment was from the 80s. There was old apartments. And it was party all over the duplex house. And it was only druggies and alcoholic. And one evening, it was party the whole day long. And when they go to bed, it was party in the night. It was 24 hours party, screaming. And I couldn't even watch my television. I didn't heard what they say on the television because it was so loudly around me. So one day I walked to the police and I told the police that I can't be in my home because it's party everywhere, and now they sitting in the staircase where you go in the stairs and have parties. They are not in the home, in the apartment. They are outside. And I say, do you have a place for me to sleep this night? And they say, no, we haven't. But I told them, tell the social service, tell them that I have been here and it's so noisy, so bad where I live. And I was sick in post-traumatic disease after being in the United States and have been so much bad things. And I couldn't recover from that, being in that house. And the social service have saw this report at the police station. And when I come home, the ambulance was there, the police was there, the door to the outside of the house was broken. It was glass everywhere. It was a chaos. So I got an apartment in this house where I live now, but on the 3rd floor, and two rooms, but no balcony. I was in prison because I started to be so sick. I was in wheelchair. I get so much pain because of the pancreas make me go so bad in my body, and I have nurses coming home to me and help me, and I was in a wheelchair and I thought I should die. And then I couldn't walk out because there was no elevator, and I didn't know if I could make it on the 3rd floor. I was like in prison. But my landlord, they have seen me struggle so much to walk home with things I have bought from the store, and they gave me this apartment that is on the 1st floor. There's no stairs. And then after some years I be healed in my body, and I could easily run up for the 3rd floor now today, but I'm happy that I was placed in this apartment with 2 balconies to be outside. a much bigger apartment also. And then now when I'm in this place, my apartment since 2009, December 2009 I come here, and first it was this girl was talking outside me, but then suddenly I started to understand. Suddenly it was like implanted into my brain, and I knew things that I shouldn't know. Was so incredible things that he could tell me that I didn't know. Wow, like what? What is this? And I have written everything on Facebook in my post from 2009, and then 2011 God implanted into me. He didn't tell me from there. He was in the brain. He said, you have to visit Israel. You have to visit Israel this year. And I didn't have any money for that, because I was scared to go to Israel, because I thought I needed to know Hebrew languages. So I was with a group, church group, to Israel, and it was so much money because they wanted to have luxury hotels or restaurants, these things, tourist things. And I was thinking, I can't make it because I am in a wheelchair and have those nurses in my home, and I can't do it. And but I always obey God. I always have done it. Everything He will say, and that's not evil things He tell me. He never told me evil things. Those Catholic and Lutheran church, they think if you hear from a spirit, Holy Spirit, if you hear the Holy Spirit, it's demons that talk to you. That's the devil that teach people like that. They don't believe in the Holy Spirit today. They maybe believe a little in the Bible that the apostles did get it, but they don't believe that a person can have the Holy Spirit inside them and hear from God through the Holy Spirit. But it's not on me to force them to believe in something they are born to false know that the devil have put inside them. The mark of the beast, is it? And I got money from the tax office. Suddenly, I get, you have paid too much tax. So I got much money. And then my cat got 6 kittens that year, and I sold them, and I could travel. I signed me up in April, May 2011 without knowing how to get the money, and then we fly to Israel in September 2011. And I had so much money. So when I was in Israel, I got gifts from people that felt that God was with me. So I bought a suitcase, a big suitcase, in this luxury hotel, and that was much money if you buy it like that. But I had that money, and I have got so much gifts, so I needed a bigger suitcase, and I still had lots of money when I come back home to Sweden. So if God wants you to go, you don't need to think about, oh, I have no money, I have no time, and like these things. God created everything in his supernatural way. What the Bible say, that tomorrow take care of itself, and it does, if you have faith. I have 100% faith, and there is no evil things coming from what I hear. It's no demons, it's God's presence that is coming over me and inside me, and He lives inside me now today. And all this, and my latest gift, I have got all kind of gifts, but not in one time. It's coming step by step. The more you obey God, the more you do what He tells you to do, the more He give you. And He give you the gifts you need. If He can truly trust on you and you trust Him. It's the equal things. It's between God give and you give first, and God give and you give, and everything adds to it. Seek God's kingdom, and everything is added to it in your life to do more for God's kingdom. And now I have been 3 times to Israel, and I have not have any money to go there, but still I got the money in God's supernatural way. It's only to believe. Don't let you be deceived of the devil. You know the fruits. You know the fruits. You know the fruits. You know it. When it's positive talking to you, when encouragement coming is from God, when doubt and fear is coming into your life, that's from the devil. Now God is talking here. Now it's God. It's on me. He's all over. God is not about money. He creates money in a supernatural way. But fast money and much money, fast things, is from the devil. It's the devil that creates the stress you have inside you. And this is the perfect time for the devil, because of we have the internet is going fast, all the message connection, all this dating with a guy is, you can have it for in one day. Before, when I was young, it took weeks to go together. Now, okay, on 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays, we are going to take a cup of coffee. And then you go together at noon and drink the coffee. It's the fast things. Fast is from the devil. Waiting for God. Waiting. Take it slow and think before you move. That's from God. Many times I have learned from God. Many times when I feel the storm on me, the devil is on me, and it's only to wait. Don't say anything to the devil. Only sit still and wait for God to help you. And the devil be furious when you don't talk back. Especially when he don't hear you are angry at him or her. Then he be more crazy, furious. But you wait and wait and let God take care of it. I have done it so many times in my life. I know it now. To only wait for God to protect you from the devil, to calm the storm. You know what happened now. You know what happened now. You that have seen my videos. The storm never lasts forever. It's the temporary things that the devil do. If you are my child, it will never hurt you. If you know who to talk to when the storm is in your life, when you are on your way to be homeless, when you have no money, your car is broke down, you know who am with you and help you. You should not listen to this is not demons in me. That's the devil is telling you these things. When I got these special angels, when I walked down in the crypt where Jesus was born, I got these lunches. I think I got it from Jesus, that I should walk like Jesus in my life. And that's these lunches. He's saying that the devil don't understand this, because it's between the Spirit of God and your spirit that is inside you. And that can never be the spirit of death, the devil's spirit, because he's a foreigner, he's from another place, he's not from here. And he go very angry about it, because he want to know everything we're talking about. That was God talking. It's a warning. It's a warning to you, to someone here. It can be today, now, or it can be next week. You watch this. He's showing me. He's showing me a window of a car. It's a black car, and it's the back windows glass there. It's rounded a little. It's look not a modern car. It seems like this be a more old one. It's a warning because it's this car with broken car, as I said before. Sometimes the spirit's talking long before I talking like this. In the spirit. It's a wreck car. He say the brake is not good. You have to watch. You have to check it, or else he say move to another car. You have to buy a new car. No, he don't mean a new car. He mean another car. It doesn't need to be new. God he only give you your needs, and the needs is not a brand new Cadillac or some Rolls Royce or something, Pontiac or something. He means a good car to drive in. He never, that's the devil that gives these Cadillac things, those new cars, those BMW, So, you don't, he said that I should remind you that what you have prayed for is already there. God knows your needs, so He places those gifts from Him in your life, but you don't see it, because what He give you maybe can come in another color, in another form, in another age, in another race of person, as you call it, another nation, another land. You don't see it sometimes. And that it doesn't please God. You maybe have, you that is single, you tell me that you may, he showed me now, someone here. He showed me a sofa, and there is a man and a woman, pretty young, maybe in the 30s, maybe younger. They sitting together and watch television. But none of you understand this. You are friends, but you are not friends. God have given you this for you two to be together. It's a blessing. But you don't see it because, oh, Shadashama, God tell me that you have grown up together. So you only see him or her as a family member. But it's in God's plan that you are going to go together. And now I see a wedding also. It's a black woman in a white wedding dress. It maybe is not the same thing, those in the sofa and those in the wedding, because I see them more white in the sofa. Not really white, but light skinned, as it says in the United States. But this woman in the wedding dress, she is really dark, really African American woman, or God is not telling me the country where it is. But I see it's like a cupola wedding stand where the priest is standing inside it a little, and it's in the background, and then is it a table between the man and the woman that is going to be married. I think I shall, no, when he say that, tell them. I think he's saying tell them. Because that's this dark woman, she had a man that is not so dark. He's a pretty white person, long, tall man, slim, very slim. That's all, did he say? Because this is the Holy Spirit that many don't believe in. Why should I talk like I do in the Spirit? Why should it come, these words? And if you have watched these videos many times, you hear it's the same language. I could keep it if it was a lie. Then I should have been spoken different. But you have heard some of the words spoken in many videos. Yes. So it is. And those that have the ears, let them hear. And those that have the eyes, let them see. And we can't do anything about those other. If they don't want to believe, we can only tell. We can only give them the testimony about God and God's kingdom. That's all we can do. We can't force them. Everyone have a free will. If not, like me, I was taken by God. But those that is in a lower place, that is not on the highest mountain, They have the free will to walk away if they want or not believe. But then they stop. It stops everything if they don't develop anything. They stand still and sit in the church and listen at the pastor, preacher, and let him do the work and then go home. I have seen so many times just outside the church with a nice service that people start to smoke and curse each other just outside the church. And we can't do anything against it. We can only tell. That's all we can do. It's always nice when the Holy Spirits have been inside. I'd be so happy to make me good work. This what I do, even if I am on my own. I have this time with God when I know He is here and now in presence, and talking to you and help some of you that have the ears and eyes and is on your way to get it. Not all have got it, but you get it. If you trust and have faith and believe. I can't say believe in me, but believe in what I'm telling. And believe that God has been here and am here. He is here and now. He have never died. He have always been with us, always. He will be, He was from the start to the end, and He have never been killed. No one can kill the Spirit. They can kill our body, our soul, but the Spirit is leaving to be with God, whatever happen in our life. Those that have going before us to heaven, they are, trust me, because I have been there. I have been dead sometimes in my life, and I know it's a wonderful place. Nothing can compare to what is on earth. So don't cry for your loved ones. Do not cry for them, because they are in the most peaceful, loving place there can be. So dry your eyes. I promise you. And you will see it one day, how wonderful there is. God's will I have talking to you. And I hope you have heard everything, because my tablet was going a little weird when I started this. God bless you, all my friends and those others. I love all people.